usually know people of all sorts of mental conditions, but one in particular strikes me enough to make this video. And if you're that person that I'm talking about, you might find this a trying to be helpful in some way or another. So this person has a severe depression, has had rough days on Christmas and your New Year's Eve, and so on and so forth. You may know this person is the person who composed some of the early music for Sass vs. Trash, but he sent me this creepy audio that resembles a bit like if a Left 4 Dead survivor was hammed by a jockey in a very sort of concerning way. Later, he sends me another music tracks and other sound effects of a similar angry, distressed manner after a back and forth in private. And I realized at some degree that this person, he has sort of channeling his distress, his depressive thoughts and suffering into audio form as an auditive art form. And this is what I'm going to probably mean with this video. I don't mean to downplay his suffering nor to cheer him up. Trust me, that doesn't usually work well with people with depression. But for people with depression, what usually works is to listen to them and acknowledge their distress as if you're feeling them in some way or another. And if music or sound is the art form they choose to channel that distress and suffering with, you can appreciate it that way empathically. Your emotions are that fuel for your creativity. The same way Francisco de Goya expressed his distress through the pinturas negras, like Saturn devouring his son, or the many pictures of anguished giants he made, or the pilgrimage to San Isidro. The feelings you express through your art, whether it is paintings, music, drawings, videos, whatever, will be eventually translated to the person who consumes that artistic expression. The way you create your art is the language you express your feelings or emotions to the viewer or listener. So you could do like Goya and keep them to yourself, or you could put them out there like a portfolio or Bandcamp, that sort of thing, and not necessarily make money with it because you're not going to become successful with it overnight. But that raw expression of emotion will be appreciated by a like-minded person, and that sheer word of mouth will just do the rest if that's the case. This is a great way to get your visibility for your work because people, and I mean actual people and not bourgeois psychopaths who don't appreciate art, will obviously like when someone is being human like them and connect with similar feelings or emotions so that it makes them human. And when people like something or really dislike it, they'll talk about it to others. I know this is something not necessary for most of you, but because this sort of street cred is good for artists, it can open you doors to opportunities in the art world. And if money is what you need, don't worry, you'll get it eventually through these means. I think it's important to make art that feels human, even if it's a doodle of some girl with a split cock size like feathers. I don't care. Also because it's a way to channel your emotions in a healthy way instead of killing your consciousness by taking drugs or having sex or playing video games like Balatro all day. Don't get me wrong, a lot of artists feel depressed, but most of the famous ones channel their depression in a wrong way mostly, and it's why some of them even commit suicide or just die of overdose or something, when what they could possibly do is channel that rage into an art form and be appreciated further by like-minded people like them, not necessarily making them less depressed because that doesn't work, but making them build connections even with other depressed artists and the sort. Hey, it's still coping with your depression or mental illness, but at least you're coping right. And not only that, you're putting your feelings to a better use that will reap you the fruits of your creative labor, whether it is financial, emotional, social, whatever it is. And it is a way better than taking drugs or playing video games all day. Even that disgustingly horny piece of futanari made out of my pure horniness has made me reap the fruits of my labor in some way or another. Posting it on a site like Blue Sky has made it seen by at least one human person who appreciated my level of horniness. And hey, remember that video piece I made where it locked itself at 1,000 views? That similarly is already at 10% of the view count and has garnered more likes than what I usually get lately on most of our videos. Finally, some YouTube algorithm cred. I know you're not going to heal your depression or anxiety or whatever mental illness you're going to have, not unless you have a miraculous therapist, which in this day and age should be pretty expensive. But at least you can properly manage nicely your depression, not by cheering you up, but by channeling your sort of rage into creativity. So it has something valuable to society. And hey, doesn't anyone like when they contribute something to society? Do you like when you're listened to and appreciated by a whole myriad of people, however many they are? That's how you treat depression. I know that is how you treat people with depression because my own therapist advised me to. He knows what he say. He's a qualified therapist, unlike my goober self. So if you're feeling a little bit blue, just remember to grab a pencil, whatever artistic tool you got, and start creating something. Doesn't matter what it is, just a bug threw a painting into a canvas and it is still large, but create something. That I think is a more valuable piece of artistic advice than anything.